Hello everyone, this is Random. Welcome to my video, welcome to my channel. So just a quick intro or say a brief idea on why I'm doing this. So I just, you know, out of the blue I had this idea, why not start recording and journaling everything that I am working on, right? I mean, it's a great way to keep whatever I have learned, keep it afresh, and keep it structured, right? And maybe, just maybe, if this helps someone, uh, you know, then that would be great too. So, in short, basically these videos that I'm uploading right now or will be uploading, these are more of my personal logbook just to track my journey. And if it is useful to you or anyone else, it's even better, right? If you're watching this, I hope you enjoy it, right? Don't forget to drop a comment or any thought or insights that you have. Just you can just drop in the comment or get connected with me. So in today's topic, I thought that I'll start with basic and then I will put down advanced stuff from the world of data. So today I'll just talk about data analytics, right? Because it is most essential in every data analyst. Right? As a data analyst, you'll be doing this almost every day when working with real world data. All right. So what exactly is data wrangling, right? So it's nothing. It's just the process of cleaning and transforming raw data. The word data wrangling may sound so uh, complex, but it's just a process of cleaning and transforming raw data into a structured or useful format. Right? Now, next thing is why is this so important? So real world data is missing, right? It is obviously not that you'll get a clean data and you just go ahead and fill out the insights or business decisions out of it, right? You have missing information, you have inconsistent formats, you have duplicates, and many other stuff, right? So if you don't fix these issues, right, obviously your decisions that you will be taking will be inaccurate, right? Your machine learning models, yeah, the you know, the data that you push from machine learning models won't perform well. Then the dashboards and reports that we create to summarize, to visualize how the business is going and to predict how sales will be, right? Those will be unreliable. So that's the reason data wrangling is, very important. It's the very first step before you analyze, visualize, or use the data, right, for machine learning. So it's important. Right? Now, so in data wrangling, we have the important topics, key subtopics, you can say, that I'll try to cover today. Right? Uh, I'll just name few. Right? First is handling of missing data, data type conversion. Then we have removal of duplicates, text cleaning, string operations, data time handling, and then in the end, a little advanced flattening nested JSON data, and then we'll also see few other stuff, right? So yeah, stick around. All right, guys. So let's get started with the first of the We begin by importing our essential libraries, pandas and numpy. Now we all know pandas is a go-to library for data wrangling, right? It's a must. But I have observed it that many a times, you know, students, people think NumPy is just what it is, and that's not entirely true, right? NumPy also helps in handling missing values, scaling and normalizing data. However, there's a catch. NumPy works only with numeric data. So if your data frame has strings or non-numeric values, it will throw an error. That's why pandas and NumPy together make a powerful combo. So we have imported our library. Now we will see that how we can check for the missing values. So here you see that I have used panda pd.play underscore excel to load the data set. I also dropped a link to this uh, data set in the caption, right? Now, from here, the question is, how do we check for missing values, right? So, first, we need to see how our, the data looks like. This is how our data looks like, and I go ahead and just do this. This is the easiest or the quickest way, right? This command shows total entries and the non-null count for each column. If non-null count matches total entries, no missing values, right? But if there's a mismatch, we have missing values, right? So for example, we have total entries, 100 entries, right? But if you look at 100 non-null, 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 that means these columns do not have any missing values. Look at this kind of society, but not right? So these columns have, you know, missing values. I said null values, right? Along with that, if you see the memory usage, the EF data also gives us the memory use. So this basically depends on the data types that we have. For example, if you look at, so object data type, it has, a specific size, right? Uh, Float 64, as far as I remember, takes around bytes per value, right? So if you multiply total rows gives the column size, right? So if this is 8 bytes into 100, that would be your column size, right? And then there's another way, you can check, right? Apart from df.info is df.describe. I'll show that as well. So this gives you a count, right? So if you are aware about, how many rows you have, and you can figure out from the column have missing values. Well. Or that df.describe, this is uh, more useful when you have more of numeric data. So you must be seeing that when you do this, it gives columns which have just numeric data, right? Along with that, you can create a mean, standard deviation, value, minimum, all these values. Using this, you can even append with the stripe. I'll show sometime later how you can uh, interquartile range. Right? You can even find that out. So yeah, this is also one of the very easy. let's say, you know, uh, all new information that is overwhelming, right? And just want to know if there are no values and if there are how many values. Well, then use this. You will see how many values, right? So this is how you can check. And apart from that, you know, uh, there is another many ways you can find the null values and missing values. One interesting thing is that when your data set is huge, right, then uh, finding what missing values manually is not easy. It's very difficult, right? So we go ahead and use a heat map, you know, to visualize the missing data. We do this using the C1 library. This was just to give an idea, right? I'll see if I can showcase this in the later many of my videos. So now we know how to identify missing values, but what's next? How do we handle it? We cannot leave missing values everywhere. So we have a few strategies that we can see. Right? The first strategy that I have over here is fill in. Right? So this one basically is we are just filling the missing values. Right? So when to use fill in? Right? When you see that the missing data, of a column is limited, let's say 5% to 10%, right? You definitely will get an estimate, right? You'll by seeing this information, you'll get an idea what percentage of missing information is there, right? So let's say you have limited missing information. You can go ahead and fill missing values. In this, you can fill missing values you know, depending on using mean, median, mode, or you can give a custom value. Now, let's start with custom value. For example, uh, let's say over here, I can see balcony has 8 missing values. Right? So now if I go ahead and just you know use this as and here about yeah, you have this values. Just run this. You can see now, right? Instead of having missing information on hand, I can see what that means this particular property does not have any balcony, right? So this property has one balcony, this has a three, this has a one, but these properties have nothing. So I can just put that to zero, isn't it? So that's one. Now coming to the other way, which is mean, median, and what to use that. So I can call missing values using and when to use that. So when you know that the data, right, is normally distributed, right, then it's a good option to go ahead and do, and most of the times, know, we go ahead and use mean to fill the data. Right? Now, if you know that you have street data or you have outliers, right? Then it's good to go ahead median, right? Where the values with median values. Now again, how would you find out whether your data is skewed or not, or if it has outliers, right? But that's another way to check it. You know, you can check for the box plot. You can have a skewed plot click to see if the data is actually skewed or not. So depending on that, you can go ahead and make decision whether you need to go on mean or median. Right? Come the mode. So if you have categorical data, right, and type missing values, you go ahead with mean. Right? So as you must have seen that over here we have a price column, and then I have created another two columns, price underscore one and price underscore 1.1. Right? I have untouched the price column. It's the actual data, right? I haven't done anything to it, and then I have just deleted few values from price underscore one and price underscore 1.1. I'll show you how the mean and median to follow these values will have a different impact on it. Right? So I'll go ahead and you know fill the lesson value for mean mean for one and median. Best example that I can show you over here is if you look at the uh, row this this is seven, you can six index. Uh, so if you look at the seventh row, you know, you have the actual price is 304, but then you run at the gain and median, right? You see, you get mean as 102 and median as 70, right? So you see the difference? So it's near there to some other values from our data, maybe, if it was really close, right? But this one is definitely not. So, you know, because we, I was just demonstrating how you can do it, but you definitely need a good description, or you need to uh, go through your data several times to understand which uh, method of fill any to go ahead with. Sometimes, you know, these things are very basic. Sometimes the data will require a lot more of things to go through. For example, there are machine learning models that actually help to fill the missing values, because sometimes our data is not in such a way or not in such a position that uh, you know where the fill NA or any of those things work or will help. So now when to use fill NA. So there was something called as MCAR. We have three types of things: uh, missing at random, missing completely at random, we have not missing at random. So when to use fill in? If your data is missing at random, meaning there is, first of all, your data is missing, and then the second thing is there is no dependency on any variable. In that case, we go ahead and use fill in. So in this case, obviously, if you see the price, we went ahead and used fill any to fill the missing values. But do you really think that the price value is not dependent on any of the columns? No, we are wrong. So this definitely depends either on the size or on the total scope. If I go ahead and show you this, just give me a second. So once I run this, you know, it will because my data set has what like 100 rows only. So it's going to show me all the 100 rows, right? Even if I go ahead and run df before running this, it will skip few rows from the anyways. So if you look at the data from look at this square feet and the size, it actually does not much depend on the BHP right, size. If it's 3 BHP, 4 BHP, but more of depends on the square feet. Okay. So it's 3 by 3, 4395, and that's the price of it. So my point is that you know this is actually you know not MCU. It's not missing completely at random because the price value is actually dependent on total square feet or size. So fill in is not an appropriate approach, but as just to demonstrate it, we have gone ahead and used fill in over here. All right, coming to you know, we have seen how we can the first strategy fill in. Right? The second strategy is to drop the missing values. So let's say if a column has around 30 to 50% missing values, it's better to drop those rows, right? But again, even over here there is a catch, right? So let's say that you have your data set is meant to have missing values on large rows. So let's say, for example, if your team is doing service work or a great product, then there are high chances you'll have missing information because that's where you knew that's something you need. It's very high possibility that you will not have much information from source you're taking survey from. Right? So you, in short, you need to get with the domain knowledge. Right? You need to understand when and when not to drop those missing values. Right? That's a key point actually. Now, if you look over here, here it is. Yeah, society column. It has what 42 missing values. Right? So if I go ahead and drop, you know, the society, missing values from the society column, it I believe will be completely okay. But again, there is a problem because if you see our data set is very small, it has got like 100 rows only. If in reality you have such a small data set, even then it is advised not to remove missing values since your data set is actually very small. But here, as just demonstrating, how to do it, I can go ahead and show you how we can just stop this. And, try this. Good. All our missing values. Okay. So this is how that works. With drop and we are removing the missing values. Right? Now, coming to the third strategy, I might not be able to demonstrate uh, this data set, but I can just give you an idea how it is used. Interpolation or interpolate, is best for continuous data like temperature, stock prices, or time series data. Right? So let's say if we have missing values in temperature data set, you can go ahead and use a command, basically df.interpolate and then method. Right? I'll just showcase the uh, syntax for it. Just, yes, this is a syntax. Okay. So let's say if we had a temperature column, okay, then if we need to use a linear method, okay, then we go ahead and use a method linear over here. But if you think that the trend or the curve is polynomial, right? Then you can go ahead use polynomial, right? With an order 2, 3, right? So if you're seeing there's a certain curve, right? You there is polynomial and you can use other, expression as well, right? And then let's say if you have a sales column, right, with respect to time, then we can go ahead and use method time. Now that's all for on how we can handle the missing data. Next up, we'll talk about the data type conversion. All right, guys. So now we'll be talking about data type conversion. So I have uh, loaded a different data set over here. Right? Uh, Unfortunately, I can't share the source, but I have a sample of the data. Okay. Now I have the, the data in Fin because this is a financial data. So I've gone ahead and put it in here. Right? So now over here, if I show you uh, something in your info, okay, you would see that most of the data type, right, is object. Given for let's say uh, for column like sales, which is numeric, right, and the profit, the discount. So if you go ahead and select this, you see these are actually supposed to be a numeric value, right? But look at this, it's actually an object data type over here. So you know this is a very common issue when importing data from CSV or Excel. Numeric values often get stored as object or string instead of proper numerical types. Right? Now, let's say I want to change the data type of the sales column. Right? And I should just if I go ahead over here and just try to change it. going to change from object to float. Okay, yeah, just go ahead and that's right. Okay. So, you see, uh, space, right? The column name has got space below it, and I did notice that. So, but you guys can just check the columns like that's it. Whenever you get any issues. I'm just gonna comment it, and then I will go ahead and run it and trying to float. Okay, yes. So that's what I'm talking about, right? So why I am unable to convert? You see, we have got a special character over here, dollar, right? To do this, first we need to go ahead and remove that special character. And how are we gonna do it? So, I'll show you guys. This is a regular expression called regex. Okay, this is where it comes in handy. Uh, regex has multiple applications in text processing or text manipulation. Right? So I will share few links. Just give me a moment. Uh, so, so those links did help me learn more about regex because regex is pretty advanced and has you know is too deep to understand, right? And has got advanced capabilities. Just so yes, just sharing two important links that might be helpful for you, anyone who wants to learn. So basically, this link will tell you how you can use regex along with pandas, right? You need not import the regex library or key separately. Okay, so you'll get an idea of what all applications you can do with regex. You can extract, you can replace, right? Do all those applications with that. And this over here is a cheat sheet that will, give you idea how, you can extract or replace or modify your textual data. So, coming to over here, I'll just show you guys how I can go ahead and manipulate or remove that dollar character from there. What I can do is, and and I need to make sure that the call is using. So, okay. So whenever you are using regex with pandas, okay, so you need to make sure that you're using this string dot. Right? That's important. And you might ask me how I am aware of these. So these characters, when to use which character to manipulate it accordingly, you can know it from this cheat sheet. It's really helpful. Let's run this and see if that helps. Okay. So Went through without any errors. That's great. And let's run our data over here. Sales. Okay, perfect. It's gone. And now let's run this. And let's run then the info again and see if it has like this. And it's here, right? So you see, from object to a float data type. And that's how you can convert your or change your data types, right? So these are the ways you can do it. And there is, you can convert from int to float, object to int. You can do multiple things. I would just give them a try. You have command. AS type is the function name. Okay, that's how you can do it. Another thing is that sometimes, uh, very interesting thing that I will share with you guys, that the analysts come across, right, when cleaning the data is when they're converting the data type, they use error handling together, right? Because what happens, you encounter errors due to the inconsistent data. Okay, because you obviously, just like you have this dollar or special characters or empty values, you have these inconsistent data, and that can throw error, or say, it won't change, it won't let you convert. So in that case, what we can do is you can use data type conversion with error handling. And how you can do that, I'll show you. So let's say I'm gonna take this discount. So here we have special characters too. Now you see that I have wrote this line of command. Okay. You would see that things that have changed is this pd dot to numeric, and this additional function over here, right? So if I run this, okay, and then I just go ahead, you would see that all discounts have gone into none. Okay, that's because I have just went ahead and tried to convert it without removing the special character. Because special character was there in all the rows, it just gave none. Okay, so if let's say I had removed the special characters, okay, and then converted it, then I wouldn't have got it. But even after using regex, there are possibilities that few of the rows might have few, different special characters. Okay, so in that case, what would happen? All the rows, would be converted to numeric, but those specific rows, you know, for which the special character is still left out and has not been cleaned, that would turn into none. Okay, that will not turn into a numeric. See, we were able to successfully, you know, uh, convert the data type to float. Again, this is not the correct approach. We need to first make sure we clean it and then try to change it to the numeric. Now let's talk about uh, the third, in the data wrangling, the third topic that we'll be looking at today is date and time handling. Now, over here, we have date. Okay. You are saying the data type. of the date is already in date time 64, right? So it's already, in a correct data type. But what if, in some times when you're, you know, importing the data, it's still in object format? What will we do? How will we convert it? And for example, I'll just write a quick line of command so that you can see this. Now let's say, if we had to convert the date column to data type, then this would have been the command. And the key point here to drill down is pd dot to date time. Okay. So, you know, as a beginner, you know, you might think, or anyone who is a beginner or who's getting into this, uh, they would think that this is not important. But believe me, you will see it a lot in Python as well as in SQL, right? Because this is important. This is extremely important when working with time series data or financial data or even customer analytics, right? Now, this is how you can convert the data type. Coming to the format, okay. So because this is already in date time data type, we are not going to change it. Even if we go ahead and run it, it's gonna throw an error, so no problem. Okay, this is change this. Yeah, so nothing's gonna change. If you see for gain, it's still gonna be the same. So we need not worry about it. But let's say, we want to change the format. Okay, so what we can do is one small argument that we need to pass over here is format. Run it. Okay, keep a check. It's already in that format. Okay, so no, let's go ahead and use it some other way. And I would like it to be in, let's say, hmm, let's see if that works. Okay, date not year, because this is the year, day, and month. This is okay. So let's go ahead and see now, and let's run it. Oops. Uh, yes. Mm, so let's do it. All right. So I realized one thing. Okay, that in pandas, because what we were trying to use is when we ran this format, okay, it wasn't changing the format of the data, right? Now, the next thing was that our data type was all in date time data type, so it was all good, nothing to worry about. So the reason why when I was passing this format argument over here and it was not changing in our you know the data set, okay, was because in pandas the default format is already in this way, year, and then you have your month, and date. That was the reason. Even though when I run this, it wasn't making any changes. Right. Now I will show you how you can use another function to actually change the format. Okay. So if I go ahead, now I'm gonna go ahead and create another separate column, and I'll tell you why later. But first, let's look at this. So if I go ahead and create format, okay, and date as usual. Okay, so and function here is dot dt dot str f time, and over here we're gonna pass on format, so we're gonna wait for right the okay. Let's run this. Let's go this right, the format that we wanted. Okay, just the next information. Let's say, and it's still in date time to the type. Okay. Now, as I told you, I'm creating a separate column for it. You may ask me, I could have done the same, in the same column. Yeah, I'll, I'll do it for you. See, it has changed, right? Just as we wanted. But here's the catch. See, over here, our date type is no more a date type. It has changed to object. And, we might have issues if we do not create a separate column. Though we can, but it's just to be on a good safe side because if we do it in the same column, right, we can face problems when doing calculations or filtering the data, right? So it's good to go ahead with creating a separate column and do this, right? So this was it, right? And one more thing. Okay. You see that I have already extracted. So as this was already date time format, date time data type, I was able to extract month, name, and year out of it. Let me show you how you can extract as well. So, yes, if you want to extract your year from the date, if you want to extract the month from the date, if you want to extract the day from the date, these are the commands for the date. Comment it down over here, and you will get something similar. Right? All right then. So there are gonna be a few more parts of data wrangling. For now, this is it.